auction, I am the number one best employee you can possibly hire for AI. And there's a reason for that. Is I was supposed to be a huge, massive founder of a bunch of businesses, and then it didn't exactly work out. So I'm not your average employee. I'm somebody who's more of like a founder mindset. And then it's just when I was trying to report earnings for my business at one point, um, I had a lot of trouble because the government office in the area was like trying to sabotage everybody. So there was no way to report earnings. And that's where I went wrong. Everything went really good though. So yeah, I have been ambitious since I was 4. Then when I was 21, I started a business in auto detail, and I was an overlord of a video game clan that I started from the point of view of trying to pay all the employees to work on the castle, and the other clans didn't do that. And so then when I was 21, I started the auto detail business, and ended up building a research and development lab for the business, where I studied a bunch of stuff, including the Y Combinator. And then I moved out into the desert and built up the business again from scratch within 3 or 4 months. And it went good. Then I packed up for the winter. And then that's when I had trouble. But see, I didn't know that they were doing that. And so I hit this like magical obstacle and didn't know it. And so I kept fighting for the business. And one of the things I did was I turned my 1,000 square foot house into a research and development lab. And I had to survive on my journal skills, my book writing skills, and planning stuff out really good. And at the same time, all my data in my laboratory, I was assembling, so that way once I would assemble the data so that once I have the business going and it's going good, and I start hiring employees and stuff, that they're all going to be learning leadership from day one. They're going to be learning how to be a manager, good managers and good leaders. And then it would be I'd build up the detail shop, and then since everyone's learning how to be good managers, I would want it to be set up to the point where everyone's learning leadership, and I want the detail shop to be able to function on its own, where I could flat out like leave, where I could go to do something else for like months at a time and have it run by itself. And then I wanted to, and that came from being the overlord. And then I wanted to start a lot of businesses, go into every industry. And then it was when I wanted all the employees to learn leadership that happened. And then, so my laboratory, my research and development data laboratory, was designed so I could keep putting data into it that the employees would research and develop at some point. Let me tell you about the leadership. So when I was playing RuneScape, I was in the top 1% richest, and then clans happened. So I thought, you know what, I might as well start a clan. And then I was the overlord, and I would pay clanmates to work on the castle each week as if they were employees, and I would log it with the nice fancy calligraphy pen. And then that took some time, and so I learned a whole lot from that because I was ambitious in business, and I wanted to carry over as much skill from that into business as possible. Excuse me. And then the more clanmates I would get, the less sleep I would get, the less time I would get, and then that left a really big impact on me. You could only get so large, I guess, and then it kind of tops out. And so my clan, I had the clan for 2 years, and at for 6 months, it was at 130 accounts. And then eventually I quit video games for the business, to do the business full time, with all my time. So after you do that, though, and you have the idea where you want all your employees to learn leadership from day one, it makes it so your dreams and ambitions go way up, because they want to like function on their own in your mind. And so I'm out in the desert, and I'm writing in really, I'm looking around trying to find the best writing equipment, the best journals, the best setup. Eventually I have gotten, the legal pads like these. I have 500-page D-Data books with 512 numbered pages that are 2 of them, like side by side, like one. And every time, there's 2 of them, and that's massive. I learned a lot about copy machining. I became a copy machine artist, and I learned a lot about data. I might write in the journal and then copy it into the bigger one, and I learned so much. And so the data set, I built one so that it would have all the information I felt like I needed to start every business and break into every industry. And then eventually, after you're building, a database like that, eventually you just run out of stuff that you need to add. Like anything you've thought of, it's in there, and you've built this just add water system to where if you start the business and the employees research and develop the information, it'll turn into a laboratory that wants to start every business and like save the world and like take over the world practically, which is awesome. I built a full-blown database, and although I don't need to bring it in, I can recall information fresh from my mind and do that instead of just uploading stuff. But one thing that you're always thinking about when you're thinking about going into business like that, all the papers that you write, all of your writing, all your handwriting, it always has to be perfect. You can't have any mess ups, and you're always thinking about AI someday that might read everything. You're always like having this little battle with AI in your handwriting, and everything has to be perfect. And if it's not perfect, it glitches it out, because it's going to look through all of your data, and it's going to read all the data that I've got written normally. And another thing is there's artificial data or synthetic artificial data where it can look at the words that you write upside down with mirrors and like make up new words, and then it can think up all the different words that you wrote in different messages that you didn't even write, and then it can use that to think up a bunch of data. And so I've just got like a decade of insight, and all that I would think about is the AI. And another thing about the AI is that you have to have data. You have to be able to train it. And so I was always planning it out so that someday when everyone's going to have their little AI, and then I would bust out of nowhere, like with my AI. It's super cool. It was trained on and it would be trained on art. It would be trained, and I had to train it up so good it would be able to compete with Google. And everyone would be jealous because it's so smart, and I'd give them a run for their money. And then, that happened, and I went through a really, put it this way, a tough 5 to 7 years, that's for sure. But now it's the AI wars. It's the, everyone's trying to find talent for AI, and I have so much that I can bring, and I want to bring my golden ticket, and I want to hopefully get hired at a tech company and make them a bunch of money. I was at the OpenAI website earlier, and I'm looking, and it's what is this humility thing? I'm on the website, I'm over here, I'm number one, where there's this giant AI talent war. They're saying Meta is offering $100 million, and I get there, and it says like humility, like what is that? Like, it's like blowing my mind. I'm thinking, like, is this like a hiring trick? Like, is it, it feels like I'm in like a hiring little maze, and it's like throwing a trick question at me or something, and it's like, well, no, you should be hiring the best and adapting to their greatness, not having them, how am I supposed to market myself to an employer if I'm like trying to make myself not look like I'm really, really good? It's counterintuitive, and it's like repulsively, it gives you this terrible taste in your mouth, and I don't know how to do that. But yeah, I don't know, I don't know, what is this humility thing? I don't know. I would take honesty and being number one, and like, over having to be hired at a place that wants us to be lame. Like, what is it? I'm a tree, please hire me. That's not how the tech company is. We're motivated, we're go-getters, we're here, we want to show you what we've got, and then you tell us humility. It's like, and I know how it is too. Once one company says that, everyone's gonna copy them, and it's just like, it's like getting dissed almost. I don't know. So I can make these reports. One of the things that I did take when I had the research and development lab before this one is I would study all the stuff that I needed in order to be a business owner, but not one that worked for someone else. There's, what do I care about a bachelor's if I'm the one hiring me? So I have all the stuff that I needed in order to be a business owner. So I taught myself in a unique type of way, which is very useful. And one of the things that I took was the Y Combinator investor class, the Stanford startup course. And so I got to see Sam Altman about maybe 6 months before OpenAI. Like, it was right then. It was in 2014, 2015. And so that's really cool, because I've always known ChatGPT from the point of view of knowing Sam Altman, from seeing his course, studying it, and I think he's had been a seed funding investor of about 5,000 different businesses or something. It might be a different number. And there was another one too. If Sam might have heard of Ryan Alice, he had a slideshow for World Saving. I studied that one too. So I've got two really good classes for startups and tech companies. So I've been thinking about it real deeply for 10 years. I'm just ready to go. I always thought I would be the one with 100% equity. So I thought, what do I need these equity things for? But after 10 years, I've still thought of it deeply. Now the AI race is happening. I'm the number one AI person you can hire, like better than any engineer in better than 3 engineers in any context. Um, I don't want you to turn off the video just because I said that. But yeah, now it's the AI race. I can make a company so much. I'm just ready. And what I want to do is make little reports with Word. I'm really good at it. I've built a whole database for business. And so I was getting ready to apply to a company, and I did more than 100 pages last month. 100 pages, like 100 pages, not of web crawling, not of Wikipedia, not of, other stuff, but I wrote them for that application. I create fresh data from scratch, where since in theory I would be on the clock, there's no issues with copyright, no issues with privacy, no need to get permission, no nothing. Just straight up, I make it on shreddable documents, and you pay me wages, and you're getting the best data you can possibly get. And if it's to help train the robot, help train your AI, you guys might be training it, but there might be something that I notice, and I'll just pretty much get it myself. Like, there was an AI the other day, I was talking to it, and it there was a certain category of information that it didn't know about, and I would have theoretically written about it, or typing and send it off to the engineers, and then they would say, oh, okay, it's missing something. And I'm really good at that. I've got let's see, research and development, making reports and my opinions. I've got a database. I've got an EPIC business research and development data making laboratory. I'm in the top 0.1% journal writer category. I'm a copy machine artist. I create fresh insights, and AI craves my data. Yeah. And so you need data that you can train your AI on, but I can do that. I've thought of the point of making fresh data that I own so deeply for such a long time that I could take ChatGPT or Meta's AI and help train them to the point where they surpass the other one. See, you don't want to be enemies with Elon Musk. So I figured that, I guess, if you don't want to be enemies with them, I guess that means that I can I get to still be not make enemies with them and still feel like they're really good. The reason I apply to XAI is because they have all the information from X. They have a monopoly on information, and so does Meta. I create information too. I can create better information than any other source. And so if I worked for XAI, then that means that XAI has both that monopoly on information and me. I have a monopoly on information that I make from scratch, so I wanted to keep it that way. That's why I wanted to work for XAI. However, I think that it's a little bit different because it's a tiny bit different because they've also got Elon Musk, and he's a public figure that next month they're going to be voting on whether he should earn $1 trillion, and they're probably being really careful right now. So I didn't get that, but it'd be great for everyone else. And so, but see, that's the thing, is if I work for OpenAI, for Sam, I can make data, so much data, that you'll be able to train your robot even more than the way XAI was able to train Grok. Anything else, I'll just be going around, like anything I see, I just can send it to the engineers, and there's going to be no competition. That's why I wanted to work for XAI, is because no one would be able to touch us. Like, it would just be absolutely, there's nothing. But I didn't get hired. And if I were to work at OpenAI, we would be able to train the robot in a way that surpasses XAI. It's that I'm the #1 AI employee you can possibly have. So anytime, I might see something for training the AI, then I'll just bring it up. OpenAI they're already doing really good. So even if they don't hire me, they'll do good. But if you hire me, you'll do even better. You definitely should hire me. And so, so artificial data, I can write the book on that. Artificial synthetic, artificial information, artificial data. There's a way for you to take sentences and messages and you can change them up so that there's even more ideas that weren't written there. You can take a message and rewrite it certain ways and create information from that, and then train your robot that way. And I can, maybe not write like a 200-page book, but I can put all my ideas in like maybe a 20-page binder or whatever. I can turn that from a science into an art. That was what my dreams were built on, is coming up with data, making up data, even artificial data. And I'm just a genius at it. It's really hard to describe how effective I am with AI. Cost cutting, money saving. I will make up. My point is that I make reports trying to make the most amount of value possible for the company. When I'm making reports for people, what happens is everything starts going right for them. They get infinite luck. They end up it's almost mysterious how they just happen to, everything goes right for them, and all the doors in front of them unlock, and nobody understands how they're doing so good at it. And it's like it's right after I send them the report. They're great. It just does all these great things, makes them all this money, and it's better than I'm describing it. Anything I can think of, I'm just sitting there making a report and then sending it off wherever, whether it's the engineers or the executives, and then it's just whatever I can do to make as much money as I can for us. And every minute it takes to read it is like 100 minutes worth of work, and it's just so good. There's nothing like it. You read it, you're like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. And anytime I make a guide on something, it might be 5 pages or something, and it'll save a massive amount of GPU and data by making it so much more effective. And each time I do that, there's a giant section of data that you suddenly save tons of data. So I realized you'll actually save tons of GPU and data if I have been there doing that for a few years. I save you tons of money, and I make you tons of money. That's how it is. Leadership. So I learned I want all my employees to be good leaders and good managers from day one. The highest value commodity in business is good leaders and good managers. Leadership development. That's what I've been working on since I watched the Y Combinator and studied that with my books. And then I went into almost like a sport. I would try and learn how to convince people to want to take up jobs as managers and good leaders. I got really good at it. And the idea is to make it so I can, make it so the employees are able to run on their own and then be able to leave and go somewhere for a few months. I think I said that earlier. So yeah. Now, there's a chance that all the other companies might not actually hire me. I had that, those dreams in my eyes, and I had believed deeply that there's this huge talent war. All the companies want the best talent. And then I, spent a whole month like preparing, and I did my best, and I applied to the first place that I really wanted, and I wasn't hired, and I was like, I hope that it's not like that. I hope that there is a talent war, because I'm better. I can make more for a business than any engineer that Facebook gets from anywhere. And so there's a chance that it might be a situation where people are sending resumes to the companies, and they're like throwing out 9 out of 10 and putting the other ones on the wall and just like covering their eyes and throwing darts at it. And that's how they pick people. And they're just throwing out applications left and right. And so if you give me an offer, you might be the only one that actually offers to hire me. And when I say auction, I'm saying like, I'm going to see who responds, and then you choose one. You don't need to be like bidding higher than the other ones. It's just I'll choose the one, and then if XAI does show up and they want to hire me, like they get priority. Facebook would have to, if Facebook was offering $95 million, I would do XAI for any amount. But I don't expect offers to be that much. And if nobody responds, then I'm going to be looking for a job working on Excel spreadsheets when I could be making billions of dollars for any company. So I hope that you do try and hire me, because I can make you so much money. So the amount of money that I'm looking for too isn't even that much. I have a whole laboratory, and it's like some businesses, they get acquired for $100 million, or they get acquired for $5 billion. And it's like that. And I have a whole laboratory where I can come up with information of the best type with my really smart mind. Like, I'm not coding, I'm typing and then sending it to the coders. And I learned that if I generate information fresh from my own mind, I can actually loot all the data that I've got. And, I don't even have to look through it, and I can come up with the same information worded different. And then we get to loot my data in a way. And you have all those copyrights, IP matters, and stuff. But so what, maybe I might not, how are we going to know that I'm as helpful as I say? We don't need to do that. We don't need to worry about that. What I'm hoping is I want to start out, maybe we try me out 50 an hour, and then I'm doing it remote in my lab. And then if it turns out I'm making you tons of money, like the way that I say, you might have somebody return and tell me, all right, you're making 100 an hour now. And then I'm sitting there working, making your business way better. And then if it turns out I really am doing that good, then you've got a whole business. You might return and say, all right, we want you to work for 200 an hour. And then, yeah, even working for 100 an hour is great. And so I'm working 200 an hour. You've got a whole laboratory, and then if it still shows that I'm doing incredible, you might return and then you might offer other things and just say, wow, you're doing so good and we're going to talk about equity or something. That'd be awesome. I will make it so everything I can see, you'll be like, I'll have it in writing and sent to you. You'll understand it. I might say the same thing twice worded different, so it's really clear, and earn my keep, and you'll have one of the greatest employees you ever hired for a very good price. All right, please hire me, because if I don't get any offers, then I'm going to be looking for jobs, that are not worth as much. But I want to get in on the AI wars, and I want to hop on the train and, help make whatever business I work for dominate, and then earn money and start my career. That'd be awesome. So please hire me. We will make you tons of value, and yeah, thank you.